D&D, brought to you by Battle Cry or Die. We're super excited. Big things are going on. It's going to be super fun. I can't wait.
Very excited over here.
Prison Break.
Yes, right. So last time we saw our heroes. They had been imprisoned, unfortunately, due to some previous circumstances that we're working on bringing to you guys in some YouTube videos. We're putting together some audio, et cetera, so you guys can get a bit of the origin story. So that'll be really good. And I am typing. Okay, so you guys can hear the origin story, kind of catch up on, the characters and where how they got to where they are. So they are in Waterdeep, in the North Ward, in a prison or a cell, a jail cell, specifically for either people who are awaiting trial. They're in a particular prison that is utilized for prisoners of a political type, or prisoners who hold a bit more value than your average thief. And so that's where they are. And in this particular prison, people are only held for like a couple of days, maybe a few days, if things kind of extend beyond what, how long they're supposed to be in there for. Anyway, so our party was put into this particular jail, and we're awaiting the decision of a council. A council that was approached by Lady Solaria, who is the High Lady, and is one of the leading people in the Harpers in this particular area, this particular year, whatever. Anyway, so as they're in the jail cell awaiting this, a mysterious female appears after shooting the guard that was present with a sleeping dart, putting him to sleep, and picking the lock on their cell doors, allowing it to swing open, and allowing our characters to freedom. Now, I know a lot of the party is leaving and following. However, Ricard has decided and has mentioned to you, which anybody watching tonight will note, that Ricard is absent from us. So he had some other things he had going on this evening and couldn't make it, unfortunately. But he's still with us in spirit and via text message, etc. So we can reach out to him if we absolutely need to. Anyway, so he has decided to stay in the cell, given that he feels primarily responsible for the offense that landed the party there. He wants to kind of make sure that everybody else's name is cleared. Now, Kidron, I remembered you having said something similar along those lines, that perhaps you would like to stay also. Is that correct?
I am conflicted.
Okay.
Yes, I am going to follow the party, but I am conflicted. I've pondered this whole entire week, and yes, I will be following the rest of the party.
Okay.
I was going to ask,
yes.
I know last session I said I was going to, I guess, go after her.
Right.
Am I there yet, or am I still at the cell?
Okay, so the present present circumstances are, she has opened the cell door and disappeared around the corner at the end of the corridor. You guys have followed her out of the cell. Atlas has undergone a specific process so as to incite some vengeance upon the now sleeping guard who also has an oiled butt crack and some oiled fingers. And so as to create a certain perception about his circumstances prior to. So that'll be interesting. Anyway, so, and you guys have all kind of stepped outside of the cell. Ricard has now mentioned that he would like to remain behind so as to help clear up any kind of misinformation that has led to everybody being imprisoned or whatever. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. So that's kind of the current circumstances.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to look over to, I guess, Kedron. I'm assuming Atlas is ready to go.
Yeah, I just got done.
Okay. I see. I guess I see Kedron. You have like a look of like.
I'm shaking my
Okay,
head.
gotcha.
I'm not looking either.
Okay. I just look over to Skadrick and I'm like, "You coming with us or
Uh,
you staying?"
no,
I'm
knowing
coming
that.
with you.
Okay, jeez. Knowing that I can go bring justice upon some cultists.
Yes, because don't forget, information was provided to you guys. Sorry to interrupt, by the way, Skadrick, but don't forget, information was provided to you guys that there were some very big names that were mentioned that you guys had come across before with rumored sightings north in the North Gate area.
Okay.
I have a buff game question. Do I still?
Yes.
First of all, just curious. Did
Sure.
I get any sleep at all?
Make a Constitution save real quick.
All right.
First roll of the night.
Yeah, actually, if the rest of you guys would like to do the same, go ahead and make a Constitution roll. There wasn't a whole lot of time there to get sleep.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't necessarily.
Constitution save or just a flat roll?
A save.
This is an optional thing, or is this?
Nice.
Finally, something I'm good at.
I don't really need the rest right this second. I don't. Whatever. 14. Okay.
Okay. Kidron, if you don't mind making that roll as well.
The two heavy armor guys.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It kind of plays into that. So, given that there was very little time to sleep, it was pretty difficult to feel well rested. So, Kidron and Skadrick, both of you guys have suffered a point of exhaustion.
So do I recover my last one? Since I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Is that so? I'm trying to remember when you accrued your last point of exhaustion. Unfortunately, I don't have it in my
Whenever we
notes.
last slept, I slept in armor.
Yeah, so we'll just say you're sitting at 1 point of exhaustion.
Okay.
You're just sitting at 1 point of exhaustion. Kidron, you now have a point of exhaustion. So this means
How many hours went by between us going to sleep and then this happening?
just a couple.
So what time is it now? Do we know?
So you're making your way out at probably like 4:30 in the morning.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was only like 3 hours, I think, because the last time I asked for the time, you were saying
Right.
it was like 1 o'clock.
Right.
So I guess we didn't get our spells back, guys.
No.
If we even used any.
I might have.
I used a
sent
couple.
a few messages.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you gonna say something? Scudder?
So yeah, we didn't get any sleep. So it's a condition, right?
Yes.
All right.
So I will tell you.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do I see Keegan like suffering as well?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and.
I mean, it's pretty easy to.
I'm go ahead and cast Lesser Restoration on myself and Keegan.
Oh wow.
It says a one condition. Or maybe, I'm sorry. Would you say that would count with it? Because it says one condition, but it says the specific conditions.
You see? That does not actually fit within the bounds of exhaustion. Doesn't fit within the bounds of what lesser restoration covers, but you would know that.
Okay, so I wouldn't.
Yeah. So you don't. You can just act as if you had not cast that.
Okay. I can pretty much say I began to cast it, then I realized it.
Okay. So you guys have disadvantage on ability checks.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Oh no!
Okay, I'm gonna try to catch up to her. If that's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah. So as you come running down the corridor, it's not that long of a corridor or whatever, and it kind of splits. It splits into two, so it's like a T junction basically. And so you have the options of going left or right. As you look either direction, you note that she has run to the left, and you see that there's a small amount of stairs leading upwards, and then there is some. Well, you can tell that at the end of that corridor to the left, there's a doorway that leads to the outside, and that the figure that you saw, the hooded silhouette standing in the doorway, is what you note.
And I'm gonna say, Phala, is that you? Just so we can clarify.
So you see the figure turn back to look at you, but doesn't say anything in response. Just beckons for you to come, and quickly.
Does she actually
So-
say that, or does she just use a hand motion?
Hand motions.
Okay, I was gonna say something inappropriate. Anyway,
Oh no.
so
Oh, no.
So anyway,
Demonetized. We're not monetized. It's okay.
so she's not in a talking mood from what I can tell, and I still can't see her face.
Right.
Okay.
So it's still pretty dark at this time.
I could do something stupid right now. How far away is she from me in the corridor?
So it's probably like 30 feet down. Oh God.
No, it's fine.
What's happening?
Just,
What's
I'm just
happening?
I'm just gonna go up to her, and I mean, I don't know. She's not trying to talk.
Are you guys following
Oh yeah.
anybody who's leaving? Are you guys following Roland down the corridor?
I'm gonna follow that lady.
Okay.
And I know he's going that way, but
Right. Okay, so Atlas is going. Kidron, you're going as well. Skydrick are going as well.
Yes.
I will look back to Ricard and say, Bahamut is with you, and best of luck.
He kind of nods and says that Bahamut be with you as well, and looks at you with gratitude or whatever, appreciatively with gratitude. Cool. So as you guys make it down the corridor. So you turn to the left, making it down to the other corridor. You note that that one particular figure is not the only one standing there. So Roland, you approach. As you approach, you note that her face is actually covered. There's like a mask or something, like a bandana or something that's covering from her nose down. So you only see the eyes at this particular instance. So it's almost as if she has pulled something up over her face at this point. As soon as you finish approaching her, she kind of does a motion like that, and then bringing in one arm from outside the door, you note now that she holds an armful of cloaks that she begins to pass out to you guys as you approach. And you can tell her voice now much more recognizable. She says, "Cloaks on, masks up, stay low, run fast." And then
I
She
say,
said-
gotta go fast? Okay.
on my signal. And she
I kind of want to give her an indication that Scott and Kedron are probably going to have some difficulty if they're wearing their plate armor. They're trying to be stealthy. Just like, yeah, they're not the best at, like, maybe I'll say in Thieves' Camp, they're not the best at, sticking to the shadows or whatever.
Man, that roller guy is really nice.
I can say it in front of your face.
Yeah,
so
we don't know
everybody
what you
else-
said.
Everybody else, go ahead and make a stealth roll for me. But Skodrick and Kidron, you guys do it with disadvantage, please.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, we already know.
Luckily, I'm not wearing anything at all because I never got armor.
Okay.
And it's gonna stay. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Oh,
Nat
God.
1.
Clank, 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 clank.
Yeah, it's probably the steam and whatnot. Now, actually, what was her name? Phala?
Did they
Sorry.
hear me say that?
No.
She
You
still
don't
have
know what her name
does she still have the fairy fire on her? She's still glowing.
Oh shit, she does.
Yes, she is absolutely glowing right now.
I'll look up if that gives her disadvantage on her stealth checks or not. I'm not sure if that's true. I'll look it up real quick.
Oh, it absolutely does. Oh, it absolutely
Even if it
does.
doesn't say it does.
Oh yeah. She's
Very
glowing
good.
right now.
Very good.
Hmm. I'm looking
Okay.
at I'm look at
Yeah,
Alex.
she's
Like, hey,
shedding light out of a 10-foot radius right now. So
like Alice, you want to maybe
On the sneeze.
ixnay on the fairy fireman?
yes, I will drop the fairy fire. I will drop my concentration.
Okay.
I didn't actually nobody explained, who she was. So
Yeah, did they hear me say her name? Because I know I said it in the cell, or I'm not sure if that was actually.
So that wasn't stealthily. You didn't mention that
Well,
that was stealthily.
I'm fine with them hearing me say it that time. I didn't know. I'm not sure where they were when I said it.
yeah,
The
Yeah,
second.
I wasn't sure, even if you did say her name, whether she was an enemy or not. So I kept it up.
Okay.
But I'll take it off if she's cool, and we're gonna follow her.
So she has turned, her head peering out the doorway. One hand is held in a motion for you guys to remain in a holding pattern momentarily. And then you guys see her motion. And as she motions, she stays low to the ground and immediately turns left outside the doorway, as if to stay close to the wall, making her way around. Now, what is your guys' marching order going to be in this situation?
I'm gonna follow her.
So
Wait,
Roland's
I'm-
first.
Well, no, not first. But the thing is that I can't do it now. But just for future reference, if they're making stealth checks,
Uh-huh.
I can assist them on those, right? If I have proficiency, could I help two people, or does it just be? I didn't know if that was something I could even do.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that you could assist with stealth checks.
Okay.
But
Oh.
what I'll do is I'm going to make that call right now and say no. and then I'm going to do some research after session, and we'll determine that specifically. Or if we'll look it up during the break.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I guess I'll just be behind. I definitely want to be behind Skadric and Kedron because I feel like they're gonna be making the most noise, and I feel like if something does happen, I can maybe assist them without being too far ahead of them or something like that. I don't want to leave them behind.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where Atlas is in that.
Okay.
I'm following, like in the formation. If I know that, if we so happen to catch fire, in some way, I would very much prefer to be, if we're forming line, to be in the
Yes.
center, as
Okay.
I don't really have anything on but my medal in a robe.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So Skadric or Kedron, which one of you is going first then?
I will go first.
Okay, so Kedron's first.
I'll
And
follow
then,
behind.
okay, so then Skadric, and then Atlas, and then
Yeah, I'll be on the rear. Of course.
and
Yeah,
then
not
roll.
your head, Skadric. For me saying that, go ahead.
Okay.
You said
So-
Skadric's in the front?
No,
It's
Kedron.
Kedron in front.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kedron.
Yeah.
So Kedron is immediately following her, and then Skadric, and then you, Atlas, and then Roland. So as Skadric is passing the door, part of his cloak kind of brushes against the door, bumping it. When it bumps, it swings inward a touch. Atlas, as you're passing through the doorway, the door kind of like hits you, making a very loud clanking sound. The head of your line here, the hooded figures, Phala, she stops, she turns back and looks, and just kind of stares and puts up the hand symbol for you guys to hold in place for a moment again. You guys hear a voice on the wall above you.
Shit.
Could have sworn I heard something.
Need something?
Are you saying that in character? Is that in
Please
character? Are you saying that out loud?
No.
Jesus.
Oh, Oathgar said it.
So she waits for a moment. The footsteps that were sounding fairly close then begin to fade a little. She puts her hand down and motions for you guys to follow her again. She is staying close and low to the wall as the remainder of you follow her out. She's making her way around the wall. It's a very dark, very damp kind of night. The sky is a very deep, deep, deep purple. The moonlight is shining brightly. There are multiple stars, piercing the night sky. There are a few clouds. It's not very windy. This area that you guys are passing through, so you do note, you recognize the courtyard that you guys had seen briefly as you were brought in. So as you're making your way around the wall here, you're making your way to the northeast side of this courtyard, or the northeast end of this courtyard, essentially. So as you're passing around the wall in this direction, you pass under this awning. There are some wooden columns that are made from carved wooden logs that are holding up this roof of thatch and some straw on top of that. As you guys walk across the ground, you note that the ground in this area is a very loose, kind of sandy type grounding. You note that there are multiple cart tracks along the ground in this particular area as you guys are making your way around to the left of the wall. You come to a certain point in the wall in the northeast corner after passing behind some some stands that are utilized for targets for archery practice, and a couple of other little stands that you guys note to be for practicing swordsmanship, et cetera, et cetera. You come to what appears to be this small, lanky figure, also wearing a hooded cloak with a mask pulled over its face as well, pulling on what appears to be the handle of a door that is under a large portion of straw. So it's almost as if this figure has brushed away some of the straw here and is pulling on this handle, seemingly unsuccessful at pulling open whatever this is.
Are we all like together, or is this?
Yes, you
Okay.
guys are like you made your way around the wall, single file, to this little area here.
Like, I'm just gonna ask: is this our escape route? Like this? I'm assuming it's a door, right? Or would I know?
I'd like to take a look around.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, make a quick
Scenery.
perception check, kid.
is there anybody in the darkness?
So Roland,
Mhm.
as you turn and ask that, the woman in front of you, she turns to the other figure and she's like, Kone, what is the problem? You were supposed to have figured this out before now. And you hear a light male voice return and say, it just seems stuck. We haven't used this passage in a while.
What was the name you said? Connie?
Kone.
Kone.
Okay. How you spell that?
Konea with like 1,000 accent marks. Konea.
How do I do that?
Can I take a look at the door and see if it's something I can work with? If it's like, I guess, just investigate to see why it's not opening.
Yeah.
If it's the door.
Yeah, make an investigation check. So, Kidron, as you're looking around into the night, you see that at the atop of the wall, the courtyard is not as big as the typical courtyard, but you also note, that the purpose of this area is a little bit different than typical courtyards or whatever, as far as like prisons are concerned, because obviously this isn't the same kind of prison. As you're looking around, you do see that there are quite a few guardsmen that are patrolling the tops of the wall in this area, and you note that there are quite a few of them that are carrying torches, but a couple that aren't. And you do see in the corner of the wall, there's a portion of the wall that comes in to meet the building that you guys were held in, and in that portion there is a guard tower, essentially, a tower that extends high above the roof of this building, this government building or whatever. So that particular guard you see standing atop it is seemingly standing on the opposite side of the tower from where you guys are. No one that you can tell seems to have taken note of you guys. So, Roland, as you're investigating the door or whatever, Conan looks at you. This person who has been labeled Conan looks at you and he says, it seems to be rusted shut.
Of course.
It's gonna take a mighty pull to loosen it.
Okay. I mean, I look at maybe
Who
Keegan
actually has strength here? Yeah.
and be like, Keegan, you think you can maybe open this, or you can we both try to do it at the same time? I guess I don't know.
We can definitely try at the same time. But once we make this noise, I don't know if the guards are gonna hear. We're gonna have to be quick.
Unless someone has a way to deal with rust.
I'm gonna ready.
Before you guys do anything, the rust. I actually have a lot of slick material in my bag. Maybe we can pour some of it on there, similar to the guard.
Oh Jesus. Okay, just come on.
I'm just giving you ideas.
I just forgot about it and you brought it back up. Just
I got these images again.
oh man.
Let it be a reminder that if I hear the word naive again, bad things will happen.
But that's my favorite word for you.
Yeah, I know.
Shit. It's okay if I say it though, right? It's a form
You
of
can
affection.
say if I hear not
Term endearment.
not even the full word. If I just hear the sound, let's be quiet. I'm gonna get out the oil. Oil.
Okay.
It's the lotion on its skin. Or it's against the hose again.
I'm gonna put the oil on the bars.
Okay.
So as you begin to brush away some more of what you do note is a particularly small. It's not quite, it's not a 5x5 door. It's like a 3x3 kind of door. So it's a fairly small doorway. As you brush away some more of the straw, you reveal two large rusted hinges. As you begin to pour oil over these hinges, you guys hear a voice in the distance. Who goes there?
I go prone. Very
I-
slowly as I can.
I cast. I cast thaumaturgy.
And what is your intent with casting thaumaturgy?
I'm gonna throw my voice towards where maybe another guard is, and
Okay.
I'm gonna say. Well, okay, I'm not gonna do it, guys. All right, but I'm gonna say, pointing in the opposite direction that we are. And I'm gonna say,
You're gonna point your voice in the opposite direction.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna angle.
Okay.
I'm gonna angle at another guard.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to talk like the voice. I'm gonna try to mimic the voice of the guard that was talking above us earlier.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, "Hey, over by this gate," pointing away from, like, towards the opposite
Okay.
gate.
Okay. Yeah, and actually there is a gate on the southwestern portion of this little courtyard. Okay, so make a persuasion roll.
All right.
Oh Jesus.
Actually,
Awesome.
make that a deception roll.
Oh Jesus. I can't assist on this.
No,
Shit.
because it's utilizing thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
Hey! Clutch!
As you say that,
Battle
Lord Riders
cry
Gate,
or
Fucking
um,
every time we roll a 20, that's happening.
so
Guys,
every guard in that immediate area, you guys see turn and begin running
We gotta go.
towards that gate.
at that point, I stand up and I'm going to jerk this
I'm gonna assist him.
hinge open. And what
Okay,
would
so-
you like, a strength check?
Yeah, Kidron, make a strength check, but with disadvantage. But rolling
Even with
against
assistance?
proficiency in it-
Well, no, if this is a strength check, if it was a skill that we're using, or we're using just strength?
athletics.
Okay. So-
Athletic?
Oh.
Okay.
I mean,
Hey!
So wait. am I making
Yeah, I
a separate
like
one,
it.
or is he just getting in?
Uh,
We're doing two separate ones.
do you have proficiency in athletics?
No, I don't.
I do.
Does
So-
anybody have proficiency? Okay, so Skodrick could.
I
Okay.
looks like I do.
So Kidron, make one more roll, and this is going to be your roll.
Okay.
5 rolls.
Okay, so that's much better. Yeah, right.
All
sorry,
right.
that's my fault.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I like this.
Okay, so
Non-beard.
Skadrick, I'm sending you a message, by the way.
Okay.
Did you create another character?
What are you sending it on?
No.
Discord.
Okay. Give me a second. I have to open up the app.
Oh, right. I can send it elsewhere.
It's fine.
I'll take
it's,
it.
it's gonna be the same.
Goodness. Okay. I don't know if anybody else is hearing it. I was messaging you, and I'm hearing some serious echo, by the way.
Every time you speak, Roland's is lighting up.
Yeah.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, Roland, just make sure that you don't have another mic that's picking up in addition to your headset.
No, it's just the headset. I mean, I can
mine
just
was
I can just mute it when I'm not talking, and then that will probably cut down on it.
Got you. Okay.
What I did to fix my previous issue is I just put push to talk on, but it's a quick fix. Put a
That's
band-aid
not a
on
bad
it.
way to deal with it, though. Cool. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Little taking
Hiccup.
out of it. Yeah, a little hiccup there. Okay, so as you yank on the handle with some assistance or whatever, the door does swing open. It does make a bit of a loud creaking sound as it does so. But from what you guys can tell, most of the guards have already made or begun to make their way towards the southwestern portion of the courtyard here. As you swing the door open, you reveal narrow steps into a very narrow corridor. This corridor is only wide enough for one person to go at a time. As you pry the door open, Kone immediately looks at you guys and he says, I'm going first. Fela brings up the rear. And he makes his way down the steps into the corridor, and he's moving quite rapidly. Are you guys going to retain the marching order from previously?
I think it's fine. I'm not moving. I mean,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'll actually remain at the door and wait for everyone to get in front of me, and then follow with Fela behind. Intentions are to observe and see if she needs help to close the actual door, the gate.
So they'll
Okay.
put me up front.
Yes.
Yep. So it's going to be Kone, Skadrick, Atlas, Roland, Kidron, and then Fela.
we're out in a courtyard right now. Like that's what we see.
Yes, and you're going down out of the courtyard into this apparent passageway that seems to pass under quite a bit of the buildings and walls here. Okay, so each of you guys makes it down into this corridor. So this narrow passage, it is a tightly packed dirt for its base or its flooring, almost like a partially damp mud type. And the walls are of the same sort, though seem to have been carved to be a bit smoother. The low hanging ceiling in this, so low almost that most of you have to feel as if you have to crouch. Atlas, you do actually have to crouch to fit into this space. It seems like just loose hanging dirt. So as you guys are passing through this area, there are little like roots and things, stuff that you would see in normal dirt as you were digging or whatever, but it's just hanging from the ceiling above you or the roof above you. There isn't a whole lot that's supporting the roof in this particular area, though you do note that there's a board or two every few feet that seem to be poorly supporting the roof from collapsing. As you guys pass underneath it, little bits of dirt fall on top of you guys. You do hear like the squeaking of a single mouse passing or running down the corridor. The tightly packed dirt surrounding you seems to dampen the noise quite a bit. As you guys are walking, your feet are kind of, padding against this tightly packed dirt. Kidron, as you make your way in, Phala just kind of motions for you to go in, indicating that she doesn't require any assistance. So as you make your way down the steps creaking lightly as you walk down them, she follows close behind you, pulling the door to, submerging you guys completely into darkness. Now, this is dark light. For those of you who have dark vision, you see it in dim light. Who does not have dark vision?
I don't.
The person in front.
The person in front.
Yes, please.
Is this just a passageway?
It is just a passageway.
There's no doors, no windows, no bars.
As
I can
you
tell.
right, currently, from what you can tell, there's none of that. It appears that the ceiling, walls, and floor are all tightly packed mud, except for the loose dirt that hangs from the ceiling. There are no sconces. There's no torches. There's no openings to the outside. In fact, as you guys, as Phala closes the door behind you, you guys feel almost as if the air here, it's very stale, stagnant air, almost as if it has a certain thickness to it. Almost making it difficult to breathe.
I'm gonna whisper, if that's even what I do. I guess I'm gonna bring my decibels down real low on my speakers, and I'm gonna ask, do you guys think that this would be an opportune moment for me to use this long-range light that I have built into me? I can't hear you.
Oh, I was like, yeah. Seems like a good idea. I think Skadric
Okay.
probably going to have some issues.
I just wanted to consult with you guys before I do something naive.
Never gonna let this go.
I would actually advise against that
I
on the off
agree.
chance that the lights
Give us away.
are visible on the other end of the tunnel.
Okay, then we won't do it.
Hold on, I'm gonna ask either, I guess, whoever's closer, if it's Phala or Kone. I'm gonna try to ask them. Is it okay if we have a light source for a couple of our companions here?
So, Skadric, you're kind of, fumbling your way forward in this complete darkness, feeling the walls as you kind of move. You bump into Kone, and he turns and he has come to a stop in front of you. And so he turns and he says, or you hear his voice protrude through the darkness, and he says, grab the hem of my cloak. And he reaches for you and grabs your hand, and you feel a piece of cloth fit into your hand.
Okay, I grab it. Yep.
You guys hear from behind you Phala say, "No lights till we get to our destination."
Gotcha.
Fair enough. Let's move.
So
Wait,
as you guys
Alice,
begin to
you see?
move again,
I'm just trying to make sure. Can you actually see anything? No?
No,
Would I know
actually,
this?
I don't have.
Yeah, so as you're moving through whatever, you notice that Atlas is moving at quite a slower pace.
All right, I'm gonna
And so,
try to.
uh,
I was just saying, I'm gonna try to lead him out easier, I guess. Like the same way that Conan is leading Skydrick, I guess I'll do the same thing. Just try to make it easier for him to get through. You can't see.
okay. So Atlas, you feel Roland kind of begin to guide you as you're walking. So, and
Yeah, I'll let him do
though it is a little bit of a clumsy way of traveling, it does actually get the job done. So you guys walk for probably 100 feet. As you continue to walk and reach the center of this 100 feet, you note that it has a very think of like a wet basement type smell or feel or whatever. So and it almost kind of gives you the sense of mildew existing within this particular area. So you guys pass through the center of this corridor and you make it to, after about 120 feet of travel, everybody comes to a halt. You then hear the clanking of I don't know if clanking is actually the right word for it. The thudding of boots against wood. Skadric, Kone says to you, "Wait here. There is a ladder just in front of you. I'm going to climb it. Look out. When you hear me call you, follow me up."
Just
Um,
okay.
Okay, so the footsteps rise in front of you for what Skadric, what you assume to be about 15, 20 feet, and then there is another creaking sound. Hey, the cards jumped in.
Oh, don't mind me. I'll be quiet until I need to say something. I'm in voice only, of course.
Okay. All right. So you hear another creaking sound. As you can tell as you're looking, because a little less dim light shines down into the corridor that you guys are standing in. This small flickering yellow light appears. So this yellow light is flickering across the steps in front of you, Skadric, as you see it. Kone then turns and says, "Okay, follow," and steps up into this small room, what appears to be like some kind of storage room. So the storage room that you enter into, Skadric, you're immediately greeted by what appeared to be like these satchels and packs and barrels of seed and grain. There's some rice. So Kone moves across this to another doorway. He then holds up his hand for a moment for you guys to stop in your tracks. He cracks the door ever so slightly. As he cracks the door, you guys begin to hear voices, a lot of voices, coming from a room that extends beyond this doorway that he's standing at.
Can I make a perception on what they're saying?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, go for it. Make a perception check. Okay. Yeah. So as you hear, it it apparently it's some kind of social gathering, some kind of well-to-do social gathering. You hear the clanking of some glasses. You hear some chatter about a trade that happened a couple of days back, and some very loud person gloating about the amount of gold that he made on a particular purchase. You hear another voice coming through, mentioning that the gathering has come to a close and people need to start making their way out. You hear the rustling of footsteps. Just you kind of get the sense that essentially whatever this gathering was about to wrap up. So Kone then turns back, looks at you momentarily, and then he motions. He gives you three particular motions. One, telling you again to stay low, and then to follow quietly. So if each of you will again for me make another stealth check, and of course Skadric and Kidron do so with disadvantage. Woof.
And
Yeah.
that 20 helped them at all. Can you get some points off of mine? Perhaps?
Balance.
Jeez,
I was like, I can't get any
a
worse.
6 and a 2.
I got words.
Perfect
Yeah,
balance.
that's a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm walking. I'm like, there's a bad taste in my mouth.
I'm just
We
kicking
literally
all the
have-
grain.
A nat 20, a nat 1, and then just a straight 20 due to the bonfire.
Oh, guys, I got gas. Yeah. Oh, no.
Goodness. Okay, so so Skadric, you're already up the ladder and in the room. Atlas, you're following close behind him, and then Roland, you are silently gliding up the stairs into the room,
Okay.
as if you're a wisp of wind blowing through the corridor. Kidron, coming up behind you, the hilt of his sword catches one of the satchels of grain as he's standing up out of the ladder area. As he does this, he notes it and turns to try and pull the hilt of his sword away. Instead, what it does is pulls over the barrel that it was sitting on, that then clatters down into the corridor that you guys came from. You hear a loud thud and an exclamation that comes from Thala as the barrel landed on top of her and knocked her to the bottom of the stairs. Go ahead, Roland.
They took our weapons, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You said his sword.
Oh,
yeah,
he
so
doesn't have his sword.
yeah.
Okay, so instead of the hilt of the
It's not
sword,
taking
it's just the his shoulder that knocks it.
Okay.
Gosh.
Next time, throw yourself in and rid us of your stupidity.
Yeah.
Fool of a two.
little retcon there, guys. Little retcon there, guys. Right? Haha, I knew that.
Paid advertisement by any.
I knew that. I knew that.
I'll take my weapons back. That's completely fine. You want-
Amateur mistake there, guys. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm like, hell yeah, I got my sword.
You haven't even tested it out yet.
And this is live. Too.
Right.
Wow. This is great. Awesome. Okay.
Coming at you live, battle cry
mistakes
or
happen.
die.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna look at him, Roland, and be like, "Is she okay since she fell? If that even happened."
Stairs or a ladder that she fell down.
This is a ladder. She fell down.
How high up was it?
It was about 20 feet.
Okay.
That'd be hurt.
I'm just gonna look down and be like, I tried to warn you that they had issues with movement and whatnot. I'm just gonna reach my hand down, like, so that when she's climbing back up, she has an easier time getting up to me, I guess.
Okay. All right. So, she has taken 4 points of bludgeoning damage from her fall. Okay, that kind of threw me off there. My little mistake.
Yes,
Threw me off
your wounds on her.
there. Good catch, though. Okay. So, as you guys move into this room, that makes a huge clattering sound. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like the barrel busted open, though it's hard to tell. But eventually, Phala comes to the landing there at the top of the ladder. As she does that, you guys hear a voice from the other end of the room, outside the doorway. Hey, what are you doing here? And immediately you hear a scuffle. Kone, grabbing this gentleman that has approached, throws him into the room, and then says, knock him out or be caught.
Did I tackle him?
You guys
Talking about.
see-
I just try to punch him in the
Is he
stomach.
around? Is he around 10 feet away from me?
yes.
God.
Kind of like the like those Rock'em Sock'em robots. I'm kind of like, like
Right.
not paid advertisement.
Okay.
Just hit him with the leg. Oh my God.
I did, yeah. Intensity. Yeah.
He immediately goes limp
Okay.
into the floor.
I kind of him like a little bit more after. Just to make sure.
Skadric, you see Kone immediately throw off his robes. From beneath his robes, there is revealed some of the most aristocratic attire that you've seen. He is decked out. A silken robe intertwined with gold and silver lace. He pulls out from in his robes a small pair of spectacles he puts on his face. He ruffles his hair a little bit, and then steps into the crowd. You hear his voice. No, it's fine. Just a little spill inside. Let's continue to enjoy the party. So you hear a couple of voices that seem to be in a bit of a disagreement with him, but some of those voices sound quite inebriated, and nobody else approaches the doorway. So Phala then makes her way to the other side of the room to where the door is, and looks out to ensure that Kone has done his part to make sure that nobody from the party notices the rest of you. She then motions for you guys to follow her, and she takes a left out of the doorway into a hallway, beckoning for you guys to follow. As you guys enter into this particular portion of hallway, it is quite ornate. There are some shelves along the hallway decorated with brass oil lamps that are lit. It's quite a bright light in this particular area, given the number of lamps. At the as you guys pass out of the room into the hallway, you guys see it is quite an aristocratic type event going on. Phala then beckons you guys to follow her, where she walks down the hallway and comes to a door, opening the door, revealing the street outside. The street that you guys come out on, Atlas, you immediately recognize as being Whalegond Way. Whalegond Way is the street that you recognize.
And I know where this is at in relation to other parts of the city.
Yes. So it is in one of the most northeastern portions of the North Ward, essentially.
Do we have I'm going to ask Thala. Do we have a particular destination we're going to, or do we just need to hide out somewhere?
She says, well, it's been requested that we provide you with hiding, but if you desire to find your own place of hiding, please do so, and do so quickly. She looks up as you guys look and see it's almost as if the deep purple of the night is beginning to brighten a bit.
I'm going to say requested by who? To her?
She says, I don't know if we have time to stand here and talk about that, but if you guys have a place of hiding that you would like to go to, we can certainly discuss all of these things.
So I'm going to go ahead and cast Alter Self and become I'm just going to look like an orc, I think. A half orc, that is. And then I'm going to say, if you guys want to, we can stay at my parents' warehouse, or we can go where they've been requested to take us. My parents' warehouse is up in the field ward in the very north of the city.
I'm fine with that. If did Fela and Coney have like a specific spot, or were they just like, did they actually say what it was, or no?
No, they did not say.
Okay.
They only said that they had a place that you guys could hide if you so desired to. But if you have your own place.
Where is the place that you guys are trying to take us to hide?
She says, we really don't have time for this discussion. Just make a decision so we can go.
What do you guys think would be better?
Shorter distance.
Yes.
How far away is it? Just quickly, and then we'll make a decision, I promise. Fela.
She says South Ward.
Yeah, so we're gonna go up north to the field ward. And I think that's where we're gonna go. Are you guys supposed to be going with us, or are we meeting you somewhere later?
She says, I am to continue with you. Kone will be joining us momentarily. She says, one of us is to send word that the escape went as planned.
Okay.
So, do you know where Prestige Lane is by any chance, Fela?
She says, not specifically, but I'm sure I could find it.
How about Salt Pork Street? Because it's right off that street in the field ward. It's a big street.
She says, if it's easier for you to lead the way, please go. Okay,
let's go.
Okay. So you guys begin to make your way. So you're on Whalegond Way. She prefers to keep off of main roads.
I put a little hood over my head.
This is like my expertise.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to tell her that.
Sure. So make a roll for me with advantage. Do an intelligence check, and essentially what this is going to be is specifically to be able to tell where guards would be given the time of day, et cetera, and to weave your way through the city here, and to do so without being taken note of.
You said just a flat intelligence check?
Yes. Did you roll? Oh yeah, there it is.
I
Okay.
just did, sorry.
Oh no, that's fine.
23. Oh.
Cool. Yeah. So you managed to essentially bob and weave your way through the streets of Waterdeep, avoiding any major streets, any streets that you know that perhaps if they aren't major roadways that are a bit more traveled or more likely have guards, you're able to avoid all of those places, leading the rest of the party through. Now, you recall that there's one particular portion of this this portion of Waterdeep on this north end here, that the Field Ward and the North Ward are separated by a wall with a large gate. And you also recall that separation is broken in two places. One of those places being Troll Tower, and the other place being the upper towers. And both of these locations have you have the ability to pass through, though you feel like the Troll Tower would be a bit more guarded. So you guys approach the wall, the outer wall to the north yard, the wall separating the north yard and the ward, rather. I'm sorry, the North Ward and the Field Ward. And as you do that, you make your way slightly westward, and you find the gate. There at the gate, you guys see that there are standing guard, 4 guards, 2 that are ground level, 2 standing atop the tower. Both sets of those guards facing southward down the main street, which is the high road. Yeah.
Is the gate, is it closed, or are they just standing watch as people pass through?
They're just standing watch as people pass through. And something that you would understand in this particular instance is that this particular gate is not often closed except on specific or special occasions. Generally, this gate is open.
Do I know, just to reference, what road this gate is adjacent to, like what it's actually on, if that makes sense? Like, is it on the high road, Tower March, or maybe Street of the Singing Dolphin?
This is the high road.
So this is the main big gate. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys, what's the plan?
That's roll.
We're following you, buddy.
Well, we have to make it through this gate.
Okay. There's no
Inconspicuously.
alternatives.
There are some alternatives with more heavily guarded gates.
Oh, of course. Well, there's always, an attempt to make a distraction.
This is the closest place, and is it common knowledge that they wouldn't just or not randomly, but they don't regularly like frisk people at the gates or anything?
Right. The only time that you would know that they would perform a task like that is on the occasion that a large convoy of trade merchants is passing through. They might randomly pick somebody out to search them, or if they're looking for somebody specifically, which at this point in time, you guys would all understand that it is unlikely they've had time to find out that there's been an escape.
Mm-hmm.
I think, guys, we should, knowing them and their patterns here at the city, they probably won't try to stop us, we could just try to walk through. And if they do stop us, then we don't have anything on us that would incriminate us. You know,
I'm just gonna suggest that if we do get stopped, Skadric, Kedron, neither one of you try to lie. Just don't say anything.
here's the plan, Roland.
Yeah.
We're going to my warehouse. It's Hope and Chance's warehouse on Prestige Lane, and we are all workers going to the warehouse in the dawn to start work for the day. That's the
Okay.
plan.
Do we look like workers? I'm
Right
asking you.
now, what kind of clothing, you know?
We still have our armor on, and we have cloaks on top of the armor, correct?
Right.
Okay. I don't know if they're gonna buy that, but it's a good plan.
I'm gonna remove my cloak.
Uh,
Remove my head.
perhaps we can just say we're mercenaries, which we technically
Yeah,
are.
I
so
mean, we could
lying.
be. This is a good point. Is there's actually a lot of work to be done in the mountains up north for mercenaries. We
Okay.
could probably just go that way, or say that we're going that way if they stop us, and say we're going to
We
what
are
is
going
it?
north.
It's called Underdeep. It's a known thing to Water Davians. I forgot what the mountain's called, David, but
Oh,
as far as I know, it's common knowledge to Waterdeep people that there's a mountain that's like right behind Waterdeep where there's like a lot of work and stuff.
so there's definitely, or at least there was at one point. So let me see.
I know your
here.
world is slightly different than, the standard, but
Okay, so seems like we're not necessarily. If we do get stopped, we're not going to necessarily lie. We're just going to omit some key details.
we're gonna let you do the talking.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. If they ask Skadric or Kedron a specific question, I'm just going to look like, guys, just try to tell as much of the truth as possible. Do not embellish too heavily.
My name
I've
is
seen the.
I'm following.
Also, if they start asking me any questions, I'm just gonna start speaking Orc and pretend I don't know Common.
Yeah, keep
Okay.
Elvish or something. And Skadric, you speak Dragonborn. Just don't say
The two of us will speak Draconic.
Draconic, whatever that is. I don't know the language. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, thief.
Okay. So
know what?
Ricard, while you're in, because I see you've popped it back in. Yay. So you're standing there. So and
Yeah.
at this point, a significant amount of time has passed. The sun has peaked in the horizon and has begun to rise in the sky. It is beginning to get bright. There are some lights that are shining through a couple of the windows in and along the corridor in the cell in which you have decided to remain. As you're standing there, which you've remained in your cell. Did you want to leave the cell door open, or did you want to pull the door closed?
I want to leave it open, and I want to use. So is the guard still sitting there unconscious after I set him back up in his seat?
So he's
And
beginning to come to.
Okay, I would before he comes to, I'd like to use prestidigitation to clean up the unpleasant trap that was laid for him in his
Okay.
trousers and on his hand.
Okay.
And I want to cast invisibility upon myself
Okay.
and just wait and see if anybody else threatening comes in so that they don't see me. And I'm going to leave the door open. And then depending on who comes in, I want to be ready to drop invisibility or just let it continue on. And it should run for an hour if I remember correctly.
Cool. All right. Very good. Okay. So as you're standing there, the guard begins to come to, and you clean him up, and everything. He awakens, and when he awakens, he looks at the seemingly empty cell with the cell door wide open, and jumps to his feet, startled. No, no, this is not how this is supposed to happen. And he takes off running down the corridor. He turns the corner of the corridor, and you hear him run out. Only a few moments later, you hear the creaking of a door, and then you hear multiple footsteps. And they're
Do I break it? Are any of them talking? Any other noises?
make a perception. Oh, right.
Can you roll a perception for me?
I can. Let me open your character sheet here. So I'm going to roll a perception check on behalf of Ricard
Thank you.
because of his extenuating circumstances. Boop. All right, so you rolled an 18.
Okay.
Yes, so you do note that the voice of the High Lady is in and among this particular group.
Okay, as soon as I realize it's the High Lady, I want to drop my invisibility.
Okay. All right. So the many footsteps begin to grow louder as they approach. They come down the corridor and reach the open cell. As they reach the open cell, the High Lady standing there suddenly becomes wide-eyed. You see her mouth to you as she's standing in front of everybody, and she knows that they would not see her in this instance. She mouths to you, "Why didn't you leave?" But makes no attempt at any other types of communication. With her, there are 4 highly decorated, heavily armored guards, as well as 3 individuals that you don't recognize, that you had not seen before, but definitely bear the appearance of being council members for Waterdeep. And
Ian, could I
Uh-huh.
speak up as I realize what she's saying?
sure,
Could I speak up and say something?
yeah, you can.
I would just like to say I'm here to answer for the wrongs that I've done and put myself at the mercy of the council, the High Lady, and the Harpers. And I just want to cross my hands in front of me to be cuffed, and basically just submitting. However is necessary.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so one of the guardsmen then approaches you with a set of shackles that he does place on your wrists, and then they lead you down and out of the corridor and into another doorway in the courtyard through which you guys had entered that particular jail before, and into the building that's there. And as you guys are walking along, one of the council members that's standing there makes a particular comment, and he says, "And pay you shall." And then they lead you into the building and pull the door closed behind you. Okay. The rest of you guys, as you've approached this particular gate and begun to make the decision as to how to approach, so as to appear as if this was something that you just did on a normal daily basis, so as not to present the idea that you guys had just escaped from prison to the guards that are there, to make yourselves presentable, respectable, et cetera, et cetera. As you guys are doing this, there's one other gentleman that you guys see coming from the high road and approaching with his eyes specifically on Phala. Now, this particular person, he's a pretty tall, fairly slender man, also dressed in aristocratic attire. He approaches. Phala then passes to him a piece of parchment. He takes the parchment, slides it into his robes, says thank you, and then disappears around the corner. Okay, so you guys are going to make your attempt at walking through the gate. So as you guys are approaching the gate, the guards seem to take no particular interest in you guys. As you guys also note, passing along the high road, there are a couple of other people now. The roads are beginning to get a little bit busier than they were. As you guys see, the sun peaking in the horizon and beginning to rise in the sky. So we are at dawn, the very brink of dawn. You guys managed to pass through the gate, seemingly unnoticed. You come out to the other side. None of the guards make any kind of indication that they're going to pursue you. After that, you guys then proceed to follow Atlas through the streets to what you guys note as you're looking at the building is very obviously a warehouse. The smell of bread kind of wafts through the air, hitting each of you in the face.
It's like a subway.
We better get subsidiaries for that.
And lawsuit.
For dropping yeah, and a lawsuit. Yeah, right. Okay, so as you guys approach the building, it's quite a large warehouse, and you do see a couple of other people that are entering in through one of the doors there. So Atlas, you're very familiar with this place. In fact, you know it like the back of your hand. You know that as you walk into the door, that's the primary entrance for anybody who was hired to work in that business. You know about the areas where large orders of bread are crated and sent off to be distributed through various portions of the city into various restaurants or places of eating. There are inns and taverns that order this bread. It's quite popular throughout the North Ward. It is especially popular in any of the Dock Ward and the portion of South Ward closest to the docks. Sailors partake of this particular bread. It's very savory. It's a very good, good baked bread.
Anybody hungry?
So Atlas, you then lead the party, Phala included, into this particular warehouse. Now, you note or you know about the doors that are particularly or well traveled through. You also know about doors into the warehouse and how to navigate through the warehouse that people typically don't travel through. You also understand too, or that typically sales don't happen directly in the warehouse unless someone is making a large purchase. But there's a certain area at one end of the warehouse that contains like a single desk with a little oil lamp where your parents have utilized or set to make deals for the distribution of bread. But typically those things are done within your shop, or within your parents' shop. So you know that entering into the door that people typically travel in through when working for this would present each of you as a potential worker. And it could be possible that everybody else there would just brush aside the idea that they had not seen you guys before, and just assume that all of you guys are workers. But given your attire, it isn't exactly the kind of attire that workers there would have. You do note that your family has hired mercenaries before to transport your bread, though typically not to this extent, if that were something that you were thinking about doing. You also know that if you were to enter in through one of the other doors, if someone took note of you guys entering through the other doors, the less traveled doors, that it would have the potential to draw more attention, but it is much less likely that you guys were to be noticed coming in through those doors.
So, does anybody hear any voices inside before we just waltzed in here? And also, I was going to ask you,
Uh-huh.
do I know typically when workers start coming in here?
Yes.
Is it around this time, or?
So you know that there's generally always someone here.
In that case,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna cast Alter Self again and become my dad.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. All
What's
right.
your dad like?
So I'm now Chance Saker. And since I just thought of this, I'm gonna try to recall information about how the business is ran, like how manifests work and stuff like that. So that way, if somebody is in there, I'm sort of mentally preparing myself to answer questions if anybody has some.
Okay. All right. And which way would you like to enter? More traveled, more noticeable, less likely to be perceived as suspicious, or one of the
Probably exactly where my dad would go.
Okay.
The least suspicious way.
Sure.
And I've probably been with him before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You've definitely been through this area a number of times with your father, knowing. So, as you guys walk through the doors, a couple of the people standing closest. Gotcha. Okay, so we're just going to pause for a moment. I think one of our players is having to jump off for the night. So thanks, Kidron, for joining us for the evening. Actually, I think that this would probably be a good place, too, for us to take a small break. If you guys need one, so refill on drinks, grab snacks, et cetera, et cetera. So, Kidron, if you're jumping out, it's been a blast, man. Thanks for
It's
playing
fun.
with us, obviously.
Alright.
Yeah, it's good to know that we actually got out of the prison itself.
Yeah.
Right. What's on Kidra's mind the whole time, although I did not say anything as we departed, but was thinking about Ricard the whole time, because it's just like, Wonder what's going on.
Sure.
All right. See you later, everybody.
There you go.
Jeez, man.
Bye.
See you, bro. Bye. Cool. So while we're on break, thank you for anybody that's watching the stream. Obviously, this is a fairly amateur stream, but we're getting better at it. We do have a couple of mistakes here and there, but our production value is going up. And as our production value continues to increase, we would urge you guys to join us. There are going to be some giveaways in the future, things that we're working out. We're going to be coming out with patches that have the Battle Cry or Die logo. We're super excited about that. That's in the works. We're working on some backstory info for those of you that weren't watching the stream in the beginning. One of the things that we mentioned is we're putting together some video. They're not going to be animated, I don't think, because animators cost a lot. But we're definitely putting together some audio for you guys so you can kind of get the backstory of each individual character to know where they're coming from. And then we're going to have like an overarching backstory of the group so you can kind of know how the group came to arrive where they are. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We hope you guys that are having a lot of fun too. I am actually going to step out real quick and grab myself a drink. Atlas or Roland, can one of you guys, are one of you guys going to stick around for a second while I step away to engage
grab a
the
bite to eat.
crowd? Okay.
I was going to go to the restroom.
Okay, well, I'll stick around then.
I
And
can
wait
wait,
till...
actually. If you just want to go use the bathroom real fast, I can wait.
No. Okay, and I'm just going to go grab a drink and a snack real quick, and then...
Yeah, I'll wait on you guys.
Yeah, so
I'll
chat,
check on the chat.
Yeah, cool. This is a great time to ask questions if you guys have any. And they can be any kind of questions that you guys want.
So guys, I actually have just now went into the app to see if there's any chats. It doesn't update it for previous chats that you've had, but it will show me all the new chats that you guys pop in. So if you have any questions about the characters, maybe our backstory or anything like that, I am here to entertain. For the time being, though, I'd like to, throw out some stuff about the session so far. This has definitely been a fun one. We've last time we got stuck in a jail cell the whole time, and that was interesting. But we were in such a confined space that it feels really good to not be in that cell anymore. And now we're going to my character's parents' warehouse up in the field ward where we're going to be hiding out. But for the time being, I guess maybe I'll explain a little bit about my character. You can see that he's a Warforged. He used to be a 19-year-old human boy who lost his ability to walk because at a very young age, he was into boxing and whatnot. And he took on opponents that were very much so not in his weight class. And so eventually he fought somebody too strong and lost his ability to walk. So long story short, now he's in the body of a metal man. I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. Thanks for listening.
Sweet. Yeah,
What's
so
up,
that
Mark?
Hey, what's up, bro? I am the
Magic
Elf of Light.
missile.
Why did you have to cast Magic Missile? Cool, yeah, so that was Atlas talking to you guys, by the way. He's playing a Warforged Artificer. which typically exists within the realm and the lore of Eberron. It's not typical to Faerun. It's not typical to the Forgotten Realms. However, we've decided to allow him to play that. There's a couple of things that are different within this this portion of Forgotten Realms that we're doing. So it's been pretty fun. Strange magics. By the way, if you guys are enjoying Battle Cry or Die, please don't hesitate to let us know. Let us know how you guys feel. Let us know what you want to see more of. For anybody who has just joined, we're just on a small break, real quick. When the rest of our guys reconvene, we will start back with our story. We're running through Hoard of the Dragon Queen right now, which is a 5e module. And it's been good. It definitely leaves room for personalization if you so desire to do that. I enjoy that myself. So I haven't DM'd in a while, so you guys will probably see me make a few mistakes. But still having a blast. So for anybody wondering, this group has been together. We've been playing for about 1.5 years now, going through this module. And we've had a couple of people come and go. Some unfortunate circumstances, happen with a couple of them. Just to make it so that they weren't able to be here consistently. And so, we just trying to get some consistency going. But thank you everybody for jumping in and joining us tonight. We'll be starting back here shortly. Looks like we're only missing Atlas. We just taken a small recess so that we could grab some snackage.
Oh yeah. Grab some cocoa beans.
Nice. Cocoa beans. What I need to do really, one of the things that I thought about was anytime I have a drink or something, I need to put a little sign that says your ad here.
Like under mugs and stuff.
Yeah. You guys, please feel free to support the channel by subscribing. That would be awesome. We would love you forever.
Whew, it's a long time.
And our videos will be around for a very long time because they're now on the internet.
Yep.
Which means that if we like you guys and we like a specific person on a video, which might happen if you subscribe, then you will be liked for all eternity as long as the video is online.
First episode is up now, everyone. So go check that out. We're working on other ones. We're just gonna go straight to YouTube. This is actually our 6th, as it says in the title. It's been a fun ride. It's going fast, yeah.
I didn't even know, man. I didn't even know we were that deep in already.
Yeah, can you believe we've been doing this for 1.5 months with this specific outlet?
Jeez. That's crazy. It's so fast. All right. So, so Ricard, just to kind of let you know, I don't need, I don't really need very much response for this portion, but I was just going to kind of let you know, since you're still in. So essentially, the group that you've been walking with, these 4 well armored, very decorated guards. Who appear to be officers, and then these 3 council members and the High Lady. They walk you into this building and take you down one of the hallways, turning you into a room. This particular room bears semblance to, bears semblance to a room that you would see for interrogation. There's one chair sitting in the middle of the room. The chair is like a slightly padded. It's got some leather wrapped around it, a little bit of cushion there. But it sits in the center of this room. You see, the wood. They're wood planks that form the floor. They're very tightly put together. It's pretty well built. It's a pretty well built place. The stone walls, kind of gleaming in the light that is now protruding through the window on the outside. There's one center in the chair, one center chair, and then there are chairs for each of the council members and the High Lady, all kind of facing your area. I'm sorry, Ricard, what were you about to say?
Oh, I'm good. I thought you were done describing. Please keep going. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. So the guardsman that is leading you in your shackles, they walk you over to the center chair, and they sit you down in the chair, and the High Lady, as well as the 3 council members, they sit in the chairs that are facing you. They then begin to, and 2 of the council members in particular, they then begin to go through a series of questioning, giving you time and opportunity to recount the tales of the set of events that led you guys to where you are now. They ask you, the specifics of, the who's and when's and why's. They ask a lot of times as you're recounting the tales, they ask you of, why that decision specifically. Is there anything that you would like to put in specifically yourself?
As they're asking me questions, do I pick up on the specific? Well, I'd like to say ask them. Well, as they're asking the questions, are there any points that I specifically note as being some of the major charges that I'm being charged with? Like, are we getting to that point?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could I kind of like? Do you want to go through that DM do you want to go through that questioning, or do we want to just?
So I really only need, if there's something specific that you would like to say, that wouldn't necessarily be a response to, or it wouldn't necessarily detail out a response to the set of events that took place per se. Like if it was something that you wanted to add in addition to giving that information.
I would like to know how. I want to pay very close attention to how they're approaching any questions about the unfortunate events that were my doing at Lord Doofcheese. Hey, look, I censored myself there. I don't have my notes in front of him. What was that? The Lord's name?
Erwin
Strong, right?
Yep.
At his encampment, I assume that's probably the major charge that they're addressing me with. Am I
that's
getting
definitely
that correct from listening to their questioning?
Yes, absolutely. Now, the countenance that they have, or that they hold as they're speaking about it, or whatever, it definitely presents the idea that they have some understanding about what his position was, or Irwin's, that is. So you do kind of get a sense that perhaps they understand to an extent that there was some betrayal on his behalf.
Okay.
Though a couple of the council members, when approaching the subject, do so in such a way so as to um, put evidence into the fact that perhaps they're a little embarrassed about the fact that they were deceived so easily, or at least what they felt like was so easily, um, to allow someone like that to betray them so significantly. Um, so you definitely kind of get that sense from a couple of them.
As they're and as we're specifically addressing the events that took place in that encampment, where I unleashed a fireball, that I want to make sure that I'm not speaking about the wand. I want to make sure that I
Right.
speak about it as if I did it.
Okay.
And I would like to specifically say, High Lady, I assume the High Lady's there. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
High Lady and members of the council, I don't know if I'll ever be able to right the wrong that took place there. I only hope for the chance to try and spend my days making up for it by doing good through the Harpers. And as I'm saying that, I kind of lower my head a little bit, and I start
Okay.
kind of visually start just my voice is shaking a little bit. You know, I'm starting to have tears gather up in my eyes. I say, nobody else in my group was okay with what happened there. I was put in a position where I felt like people I knew and trusted were at risk and had no idea what harm he had already done to them. And in that split second, I dealt with it like everyone in that encampment was on his side, that I didn't already know for sure was not. If I had known the High Lady was there, I would have never taken that action. And I've had to live every day since then with the knowledge of the people I hurt. But I only ask, as I've already asked, that you deal with me in these crimes as if I am the one that did them and I solely did them. Because that is the truth of the matter. And I kind of raise my head as tears are starting to run down my face, and I try and clear my voice, clear my throat to regain some manner of control over my countenance. And I say, whatever this council, the High Lady, and the Harpers decide is what has to be done, I will of course submit to. I just ask that you please keep in mind the dangers that the realms are in. And if nothing else, give me the chance to try and continue making a positive impact and put the cult of the dragon to rest where they need to be. And that's kind of where I
Okay.
go quieting in and just can wait for them to continue on with any other questions they might have.
So one of the council members looks and he says, "We shall keep that in consideration." And they he kind of looks back, he looks to his left at the two council members sitting to his left, and then he looks right to the High Lady. And the High Lady just kind of nods. And then they all stand up, and one of them looking at you is just like, one of us shall return to inform you of our decision. And then they file out of the room one by one. One of the 4 guards going with them, 3 of the other guards remaining. Those 3 guards lining up kind of side by side, shoulder to shoulder in front of the door.
DM, is there a point where the High Lady is looking directly at me as they're going to file out, where I kind of feel like everybody else's eyes are not on me?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I would just like to mouth at her that I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. All right. So she seems to get that message from you, as you mentioned that to her or whatever, and then she turns, and she's actually the last following the other council members out. As she follows the other council members out, the 3 guards turn to face you shoulder to shoulder, the door shutting behind them. And you hear the footsteps on the other side of the door trail off. Okay. So the rest of you, you guys make your way into the warehouse. As you guys walk into the warehouse, you do see that there are only a few people in there at the moment. It's quite large. There are crates. In certain places, there are a few tables that are set up that it appears as if bread is being kind of sorted into or onto different tables or whatever, and you guys feel the heat from one of the other sides of the warehouse where a large portion of the bread that goes out is cooked or is baked anyways. And as you guys look around, you begin to notice things like, over in the corner of the warehouse, there is a mill. There's like a grain wheel. You see there's a donkey that's walking around in a circle, pulling this wooden post that's attached to a wooden column that has a wheel on it that's rolling around, milling all of the grain. You see in another portion, there are these very large bowls, these very large wooden bowls, each of them seemingly coated in powder, some sort of powder. And you see another portion of the warehouse that it has large tables that are currently empty, but the tables are coated in some sort of powder as well. And behind them, there are just shelves of what Atlas, to be shelves of the various ingredients that they might utilize to change, alter, or enhance the flavor of the bread as they're baking it. It's essentially like spices and things. So just to make the various forms of bread that they produce. And so as you guys stand there, the longer you guys kind of stand and look around and watch, you guys see more and more people kind of filing in. And they're kind of trickling in, and as they trickle in, you guys see people moving to each of the various stations in the warehouse. Somebody begins stoking the fires that are over where all of the baking is done, and you guys feel the temperature of the room begin to rise a bit. Somebody looks over and sees you, Atlas, immediately, and kind of gets wide-eyed for a moment. And hurries over to where you guys are standing, and is like, Mr. Saker, we didn't realize that you were going to be in this morning. And he turns back to some of the other workers that have begun to kind of do their daily duties, and he says, and make sure you clean that up too. Just kind of pointing over into a corner of the warehouse.
Do I recognize him?
Yes, you do. This particular gentleman is someone named Eisner. This person is somebody that your father respects, who has been working for the warehouse for probably a decade or more. Somebody who, or at least working with your family for a decade or more. Somebody who is well established with the family, that's very trustworthy, who you know often worries about not getting the job done to your father's standards. Though you've never seen your father be abusive or anything like that towards him, it just seems like this particular person takes his job personally and wants to ensure that it's done right, it's done well, and that the bread is top notch, is top quality always.
It may be early in the day, Eisner, but it looks like you're doing a good job so far. Just for the time being, keep at task, and if I need anything, I'll come to you. Is that fair?
He says, yes, of course, Mr. Saker. And he kind of gives a bow, and then he turns and hurries back off to one of the stations that he was working at. You then see him begin to direct a couple of the other employees to doing each of their various tasks. As you guys are standing there and watching this, you hear the door behind you open again. And as the door opens again, you turn and you see Kone strolling into the warehouse.
Is there
Phelan,
a space for us to go in here? Like an
Um,
office room or something?
so there's not necessarily an office room, but there is an area of the warehouse that you know of where it's almost like a loft type area. So the warehouse is all open. There aren't really any separate rooms, but in the loft area, it's pretty high up. Like the warehouse is a very, very tall building, right? So you note that there in one particular portion of the warehouse there are a set of stairs that lead up to this loft type area, and in the loft type area, it's almost like a break room kind of deal. It's almost like a place where some of the people that work there for your father can go and just kind of find a place to or find time to relax if they want to. If it's a place where uh, people who work for your father, in a case that they had experienced some sort of exhaustion, that's where that person would go. And so it's pretty well away from the hustle and bustle and the noise of the rest of the warehouse. So going up there does prove to be a pretty quiet place.
What was the dad's name again?
His name is Chance.
And did you let us know that was your dad that you were turning into, or?
He didn't say anything
No, I didn't
before.
say
He
anything.
just turned into him.
So you're just a guy to us.
Well, I mean, you did just see me like boss around that guy.
Sure.
Hey
can
boss,
always
is there?
like-
Hey boss, is there somewhere we can, take a load off?
Yeah, we can discuss some. We can discuss some terms and stuff for the trade up here. I've got a little area.
Sweet.
Like pretty much, I put my arm over Kedron because we're both freaking exhausted.
Okay. So do I take it that we're actually up there now, or are we?
Yeah, so you're
okay.
making your way making your way
Okay.
up there. As you guys are walking up the steps, Phala and Kone have kind of gotten together, and they're talking in between each other, and you hear Phala kind of ask, like, have they been informed? And Kone is like, yes. They've been informed as should be, or messages on the way. And Phala says, what should we do about the other party member? And Kone is kind of like, I'm sure he has reasons for having stayed behind. Should we send word to the High Lady? And Phala turns and says, that would probably be a good idea.
Did we hear that?
And yes, you guys do. They're keeping their talk low, but they're not keeping their talk low enough that anybody in the immediate vicinity can't hear them. So
I'm just gonna say, okay, so I know for sure it's her now. Like, she still have a mask on or anything, or any chance I wouldn't know it's not her?
so at this point, you can deduce pretty much that
Okay.
it's her.
Okay, I'm gonna be like, Phala, I haven't seen you in a while.
What?
And
But
she
before you-
turns.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
She turns and she says, "Yes, it has been some time."
Uh-huh. So the High Lady seems to have hired you to break us out, even though she was the one that arrested us. Interesting.
Wait, how do you
She
know
didn't
her?
hire us directly, but yes.
She use a proxy to hire you, or?
Oh, let's say that there are a few more forces at play here than I think you probably understand.
Any chance you're working with anyone from the Black Network at all?
She says, I've not heard of the Black Network being hired specifically, but as you well know, when hired by someone, it is oftentimes best not to ask questions such as that.
See, that's where me and you always disagreed on stuff. I like to ask a lot of questions. You seemingly don't.
And she
Just like the
she looks at
stakeholders.
you and she's like, yes, and perhaps if that difference was not so prominent, we would have lasted.
Skadric is just like,
This are they just speaking openly?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I go, well, what about your other lady friend?
Oh.
I'm just gonna look up in the sky and sigh. Like, this last 2 days have just been
Wait.
fantastic.
How do you guys know each other?
Have the same hairdresser. No.
Is she beautiful?
She is she does have very nice features, yes.
What color do I know what color hair she has?
It's black hair.
Ooh. How tan is her skin?
It's pretty dark. It's very dark.
She has a narrow face. Okay.
Do I see Atlas just staring at her?
I don't make facial expressions. I only
know,
have eyebrows.
Do I just see you like trying to examine her face? Just saying all this.
Roll an insight check on my eyebrows moving up and to know if I'm sexually attracted to her or not.
Okay. 15.
What do I need to do to try to not?
Are you trying to be deceptive?
No,
Are you-
I mean I'm not, but I'm
Oh,
also
so-
not sitting there like trying to let everybody know that I find her attractive.
Okay.
So do
I'm
this
just-
instead of insight, roll a perception check just to see if you notice.
Oh man. Okay. Nat 20.
I know that look.
Oh,
What do I even
oh,
do
man,
to indicate that I'm
like,
attracted?
Looking at her for a prolonged period, and you just like seem like you're way too.
you see Atlas's head kind of go down and slowly go up, and then his eyebrows are kind of like,
Which head?
Wow.
no.
Anyway.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
Oh no.
I'm just gonna be like, Atlas, you know that word you don't want me to say.
How is this in any way?
No.
having anything to do
Not
with
even
anything?
referencing that. I'm just referencing the comments you made about my other situation.
Oh, you have some things that you're sensitive about too, my friend.
just offhandedly mentioning that. But no, I'm just gonna say,
Fela looks at you and she's like, oh, have you been getting around, Roland?
life of a traveler is a lonely one, as you may know.
It's not when you have
What I do in my
Muhammad.
personal time is my business.
I'd say he's been getting around. He's been rolling.
I've only
that's
known
a good
this.
one, Atlas.
I've only known this one for maybe a month.
Ooh.
Not quite sure how he would know any of that per se.
I know about the other girl. You mentioned her before. You remember when we were at the church and you had like all the big trust issues and we worked through it? You remember?
She looks and she's like, oh, trust issues. I'm not surprised.
Well, actually, he's gotten quite a lot better about it.
And she's like,
Wait.
oh. And
That's
she,
just something I've noticed. I like to give credit where credit's due.
she kind of smirks and looks down and
I
she's
feel like this is
maybe there's
payback
hope for the future.
for comments I've made. What?
Oh,
Regardless,
let's begin.
Back on point. You are working indirectly, directly, whatever you want to call it, with the High Lady, which essentially means that she wanted us to leave, which means that Ricard shouldn't be there, which means because obviously whatever tactic she was trying to use to get us out didn't work. The one thing I was concerned about was that we may have been pardoned. I know we discussed it last night, possibly us getting out, but this just makes you think that she knew that we weren't going to get out anytime soon.
So Fela looks at you and she's like, yes, I know that our job was to, if the case should arise, to remove you from what was your circumstances at the time, given that the council was not hastily moving on their decisions. Such seems to be the case.
I'm going to look over at Skadric and just be like, do you have the ability to cast sending at all? No?
I'm out, man.
Well,
Too
shit.
tired.
Okay, so we got to figure some stuff out. I know they were trying to get us to a hiding spot. Was there anything else you guys had to do right now, or is this a good time for us to maybe try to find some place to rest? Because some of our...
And what about our gear? Were you able to secure our gear?
And she says, our job specifically was just to remove you from the jail. If your gear is to be secured, it is being done so by other parties.
Okay.
So, what is the actual plan? Like, what's the end game here? See what I'm saying, Fela?
She says, that is something I don't know. But we've sent word that your escape has been successful, with the exception of your friend. And she says, so we should be hearing word back from them shortly.
Yeah, Atlas, you shouldn't expect a lot of information from her. She doesn't like to ask questions, as we've established.
Roland, what was the other guy's name?
Who are we talking about?
Kona, I think his name was.
Kone?
Kone?
Kone. Mhm.
Is he there?
He has turned and made his way out. So as you guys were approaching the top of the stairs into the loft, after the conversation that he had had between Phala just before you guys started interacting with her specifically, he turned and rushed back out of the warehouse as if to take more information to whoever his contact is.
Okay, that's fair. So we could probably stay maybe in this loft, and since I'm still in my father's body or replicant of it, I can close shop up here for a little while. If you guys want to rest, downtime,
Sounds good.
Sounds like the easiest thing to do. I mean, I could take you to my parents' place, but
I feel like it's going to be a whole issue with the new body. Like, are they even aware of your current situation, or?
I think it would be a lot of explaining and a lot. There's only one way I can really prove to them. We don't even need to get into it. The easiest thing is for me to probably get Eisner, the real, authority here, and tell him that no one is to come up here.
Okay.
If they want to take a break, they can take it outside.
Gotcha. So Scott, you and Keeter are gonna
The first thing I
go
want
to
to
sleep
do.
up here.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll take off my armor and get comfortable.
Okay.
And the first thing I want to do is see if there's any kind of parchment, maybe something to write with. Just maybe
Okay.
laying around somewhere. Or if
Yeah.
I can get Atlas to get some.
Sure.
I could probably get that for you. Not a problem. If they don't have paper here, then I would be surprised.
You writing an actual letter, Scott?
Well, before I was able to actually send messages with my ability,
Yeah, you're doing it the old-fashioned way, huh?
the old-fashioned way. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I trained Wint well enough. Yeah.
Oh God. Let's try that. I mean, we have access to people who can deliver a message right now. Do you want to use them instead of?
Who do you trust right now?
I trust Phala enough to send a message. If you're trying to send, who are you trying to send it to?
Well, I try to want to get it done quick.
Okay, she's fast, I believe.
I want to send a message, pretty much asking how to the High Lady, asking how the councils, what side are they kind of leaning toward if they haven't already made a verdict.
Okay, and you want to send this via bird?
Yeah.
How much training have you done with Wint?
A lot.
Okay, so she's delivered a message before.
She has not, but I believe in her capabilities.
Does she know who the High Lady is well enough to be able to find her amongst the city of Waterdeep?
She has seen her.
But can she distinguish her from all the people in Waterdeep?
I believe she can.
Effectively, do you really want to do this, or do you just want to send the message to the person that's already in contact with the High Lady? I'm just trying to clarify.
Who do you think would get there first?
I honestly
more securely.
think Phala will get there first.
Phala stops and is like, why don't you just write the same letter twice? And I'll have the letter transferred myself, and you can send the other letter via your bird, and we'll see who makes it to where the fastest.
We got to place bets.
No, we don't need to do this. This is
Kayla, what do you think? Bets?
Bets?
She always did have an ego
I'm
on
gonna
her.
make a smile with my little
Don't.
mouthpiece thing.
So
well, you
I
still
do.
look like Mr. Sager, right? You haven't dropped that yet, right?
That's true. I can actually smile.
Oh wow.
I
Also,
didn't even think about
how
that.
are you guys going to place bets with no money?
I've got money at
Oh yeah,
home.
you. Okay. So actual money. You know what? I'm getting out of this. I'm gonna
Not a lot.
just
So
stay out of this.
I'll write
Phelan
I
looks
write the
and
same letter twice.
okay.
Oh my God, we're
And,
doing
and
this.
Phela looks at Roland and she's like, "Oh, is Roland afraid of a bet?"
I was saying you were faster. Why would I even? I don't need to bet. I know you're faster
Roland,
than.
do you not trust yourself?
Okay, I am saving my money for a specific
Tying the note
specific purchases,
around
guys.
Link's leg.
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put 5 gold on Phela, and just there. There you go.
Look at you, money bags.
And I'm gonna reach into my pants and
Oh,
pull out
okay.
the 5 gold.
Yeah. I don't want the gold.
Phela looks at the gold for a moment and she's like, "That doesn't surprise me either."
It shouldn't. Anyway, okay. Well, Skadrick does
Alright,
that,
I
and
release
I know
wind.
he's okay. That's cheating. You're supposed to count down. Really? Okay. I will say, is she left? I would just assume she left,
No,
but she didn't want
she's still standing there.
to. Okay, yeah. I mean, you should probably get out of here because you have to beat the bird. Apparently, that's the thing we're doing. But yeah, we can catch up when you get back, I guess, if you want.
So
This isn't
she
too awkward.
I would
takes
love to
the
hear
letter.
the story about you two.
I'm
She
sure
takes the
you would.
letter from Skadrick and she puts it, stuffs it into her robe, and she's standing there and she says, "You know, I don't know if I want to leave right now."
I just put 5. You know what? I feel like you're trying to screw me over. It's fine.
She says,
Do
"Oh,
what
and
you
is
I
5
like
gold
her.
all you have?"
Okay, you know what? So I'm gonna go shopping. Don't even care. I'm just gonna leave. You guys take a little nap.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
taking a nap.
But you need a nap too.
No, I don't actually. I don't
So,
really cast a lot of spells.
so Ricard, as you're sitting in there,
Oh God, yeah.
the some of the council members and the High Lady, they return and come through the door. They then describe to you the events that are to take place. They say,
This is specific. You're talking to me.
yes,
David?
yep.
Okay. I'm kind of trying to to be involved, but I'm not 100%. But I'm
Oh
here
yeah,
now.
no. Okay, no, you're fine. And it's not necessarily that you need to respond in this case. Anyway, so they so they come in and they describe to you the events that are to take place, and then one of them comes and brings this black kind of like sewn bag and puts it over your head. You then feel yourself being led out of the room that you're in and into out of the hallway, out through this corridor, out of the room into the open air. You hear the sounds, the hustle and bustle of the city as it has begun to pick up outside the walls. You recognize this as being the courtyard that you had entered in through. The hands then guide you to step up to walk up these steps. As you walk up these steps, they then guide you to onto a bench or whatever, and then you hear this door shut and a latch lock. you recognize as the bumping begins that you're now in the back of a cart that is beginning to roll. You hear the clip clop of the horse's hooves on the street as the cart bumps back and forth. So you hear the High Lady's voice come through the wall of the cart, and you hear her voice passing as the cart is rolling, and she says, "Ricard, I pray thee farewell."
As she says that,
Mhm.
can I say back for her, if she sees my grandparents, to please tell them that I love them and I'm sorry.
And she says that she will. So, Roland, as you're walking down the stairs or whatever, and you begin to make your way back to the door that you into which you guys had entered, and you're reaching for the. I can't hear you.
Okay. No, I was saying I wouldn't have just walked down without getting directions. I have no idea what the hell anything is in the city, so I would have asked
Okay.
Atlas before I left.
Okay.
If there were any shops in the area.
Yeah,
and to point them out and all that for like give me a general idea. And then I would have asked Fela to accompany me so we could walk and talk. She wasn't gonna go deliver the damn letter. I'm like, sure, you're not gonna do that. Why not just do this?
She stands there and she says, "No, I think I am to remain here with the party until our information returns."
Gotcha. Atlas, I'm assuming you're staying up there in disguise. How long does your disguise last?
For an
How
hour.
much does what last? The
Your
disguise?
disguise.
Only
It's
an
an hour?
hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go shopping for about an hour, and I'm gonna look for
Can
something
you-
specific if I actually get out the door. But I feel like I'm not gonna get out the door, so I'll just wait for the DM to tell me what's happening.
I was gonna ask before you leave to go shopping.
Mhm.
If you have extra time, it's okay if you don't.
Mhm.
I want you to try to find a blacksmith who might be able to create some armor for me, specifically called half plate armor. See
Specific
what it would cost. That's all I need to know. What would it actually cost from this particular person?
Does he need specific armor for him to be able to wear, or can he wear any armor?
Do you want to know the rule of it? I know it off the top of my head.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
I-
you would rule it this way, but
Yeah, I'll shoot you the information.
okay.
So you guys can just you have that discussion,
Gotcha.
and then I'll shoot that information over to you, Roland.
All right.
But yeah, so Atlas, and Atlas is able to describe to you like all the shops in the area, and the quickest ways to get to and from those shops. He's intimately familiar, especially with this part of Waterdeep.
Okay.
Okay, so as you make your way down the stairs or whatever, Fela remaining behind with the group, Skadric and Kidron, you guys are making yourselves comfortable, trying to get some rest finally. So Roland, you make your way over to the door of the warehouse to make your way out. Just as you are beginning to reach for the handle to push the door open, it swings open from the opposite side very rapidly. Somebody essentially bursting in to the warehouse. Kone plows into you.
Mm-hmm.
Headlong. He stops. He kind of brushes himself off, and he says, he looks at you and says, "We need to go." And, so
I like this just-
he passes by you, walks up to walks up the stairs to Phala, whispers something in Phala's ear, and then immediately turns and begins to rush out. Phala turns to the rest of you, and she says, well, I have some news. First, I believe that an exchange of 5 gold is to take place.
I left it on the
Would I
table.
have
She
just-
could just take it. Whoever wants to just take it.
And then she says, the more unfortunate news is it seems that your friend is to be executed.
Is that come again?
She says,
All right.
he is to be
Immediately puts on the armor.
he is to be executed, and it is public.
Is it
What?
happening right now?
It's about to happen.
What
Let's
the
go.
fuck
And
kind of
she's
Let's go.
ridiculous is this? It's just 5 minutes. Okay.
So she leads you guys out, back out into the street, into the roadway, and where you guys find that Kone has arrived with a horse-drawn cart of his own, and he says, "We have to go rapidly if we're to make it in time." So you guys pile into the back of this cart, and Kone at the reins, smacks the reins very, very, very hard. The horse kind of rears back for a moment and then begins to take off down the roadway. Kone yelling for people to get out of the way. So you guys travel down the high road, and even with Kone making it as fast as he can, he's having to slow up quite a bit because of the amount of foot traffic that's begun to happen in a lot of the roads. As you guys know, as the day has grown or it's gotten later in the day, the busyness of the city has begun to reveal itself, right? So you guys are traveling through, and you travel down the high road, passing each of the various streets, and turning towards the Sea Ward. Now, Atlas, you know that there is a particular building or stadium, essentially, in the Sea Ward. That stadium is a huge open-air stadium, and it is a staging area for many of the events for the people of Waterdeep. There's gladiatorial events that happen, gladiator type events that happen there. There are, essentially like quote unquote Olympic games that happen there. There are magic tournaments that happen there sometimes. There are, but you also know that it is a place that is utilized when they want to make an execution public, and they want all of the public to know, like, hey, this is happening or whatever. And essentially, it's like anybody can walk in and watch this happen, whatever type deal.
Guys, this is some serious shit.
Yep.
So you guys are streaking through the streets of Waterdeep, passing little peddlers and shops, passing houses that people own, seeing a large portion of the populace, and you pass into the Sea Ward and travel through the streets, coming to Jelzar's Stride, which is a street that loops around this stadium. So as you guys approach the stadium, you see these rock walls, this incredibly large building, rock walls rising high into the air, ornate archways that line the outsides of it. There are tapestries of the colors of each of the nobility who have aided in or are attributed to those that run the city. There are, there are just like large streamers and things. There are around the base of it. There are a couple of merchants. It's just a pretty ornate, pretty active area. As you guys approach, you do see that there are quite a few people kind of making their way into this stadium, though it's not like a huge crowd like what you would see at a ball game or something like that. But it is a fair number of people kind of making their way into the stadium or whatever. Now, you guys don't approach from the front gate specifically. Kone kind of takes you guys around to a side gate. This side gate, you guys note, is very, very guarded. There is a pretty large contingency of guards here. In and among those guards is the High Lady. As you guys approach, the High Lady looks quite distraught, and she kind of looks at you guys as y'all get off of the cart, and as you guys approach her, she kind of says, I'm sorry, I tried everything that I could. It's just not worked out the way that I want. And she's said this very loudly, so that a couple of the guards kind of take note. They all seem very, very stoic. So as you guys get off the back of the cart, these guards take you and they kind of lead you guys into this like corridor type area and turn and begin to lead you guys up some stairs. Now, the High Lady is not coming with you.
Did we just walk back into custody? What the fuck just happened?
Is that what happened?
I don't know. I was just trying to make sure.
Given that would be something of interest, one of the indications that you guys get is that these guards have no interest in you guys specifically. So it's almost as if the terms of what is happening currently include the assurance that that you guys are. You get the feeling that you guys are off the hook. Nobody's moving to make an arrest. Nobody is like pointing you guys out. No one is reacting to you guys any differently than they would anybody else.
Okay, so we're in a corridor, you said?
Yeah, so they lead you into a corridor and turn and begin to walk you guys up some stairs, seemingly towards one of the upper levels of this stadium.
Wait,
yeah.
away from the middle?
So it's almost as if he's taking you to a higher level, essentially.
This is where the spectators are.
I would think. I don't want to go where the spectators are.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious as to. I'm assuming they're leading us somewhere to talk to someone. That's the only thing I can think.
So you're absolutely welcome. I mean, if you wanted to,
I will ask them.
or yeah.
the guards like, are you like, where are you taking us, basically?
He says, well, we were just going up into the stands. Is there? Do you not want to go into the stands?
Where, I mean, the person being executed, are they already in the arena, I guess? Do you know?
They should be making their way into the arena shortly.
And these executions are typically done how? Is it like a beheading, or is it like a like?
He says, I don't know the specifics of this execution, though it did seem to have a certain level of high importance.
I mean, I'm gonna look back to Skydrick and Alice, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, this is the first time I've been in this city, and it's been a crazy 2 days. So
This city is a fair and just place, and I feel like there would have actually, unless I'm wrong about that, do they not have a court system?
That was the court system, I guess.
is someone
Oh, yeah, they do.
within a day or so? of
And
being arrested?
so that was like a very quick due process.
Right. Yeah, you definitely get that feeling for sure.
Okay, well, I'm whispering this.
Is there nothing like? Has there never been a time in Waterdavian history somebody has been able to be a witness or speak out and make a difference in somebody's execution?
So thinking back, there are a couple of instances that you think of that there was an execution that was supposed to have happened, and you recall there having been evidence presented so as to prove the accused parties as innocent. And then you recall one other instance of a mother whose son, not yet come of age, was essentially on the chopping block for something that he had done accidentally, and the mother had run out at the end, and the nobility showed her mercy or whatever. But those are really the only instances you recall.
Guys, we beat, or you guys beat, that is, Erwin, the person. I'm sure he was politically popular enough to where people know about him, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I knew about him. I knew he was a politician. I didn't have any idea of the stuff that was intertwined within the government here. And something just seems real fishy for him to have gone through due process in less than 2 days. And on top of that, you guys as a group beat Erwin. So it doesn't make any sense that he, in Ricard's defense, helped stop the, I guess you could say, reigning tyrant or disguised tyrant, part of the Dragon Cult, and they still decide to execute him anyway. That doesn't make any sense.
The guard, one of the guards that was walking with you guys, he turns and he says, if you guys are deciding to do something, he says, you probably should move quickly. Things will be in motion soon.
Well, I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna say, well, what can we do? Like, what can we do? We have a chance to even speak up, or
He says, "You can certainly try."
well,
I
that's
just
what we need to do.
Sure, but I just find it weird that they don't give a shit about us escaping jail. That's the part that seems really weird. Like this just happened
They
like
gave us,
last night,
yeah, they gave us sanctuary.
but why? Like they could just
Well, we don't. Our characters don't know why.
no. I got that. I'm just saying.
Okay.
See, it's just that they let us just kind of leave. Like it wasn't like they sat around and like, yeah, let him go. It was we escaped, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's not suspicious at all. Let's not go after those guys."
To be fair to you, Roland, they straight up let me walk in with all my stuff on me. So I think that there were a lot of things that they didn't really care about. I think their main goal was to keep Ricard within jail.
Yeah,
And
I'm figuring
because
that.
you guys were all put under arrest, they didn't know who I was coming in, apparently.
Yeah,
And so whenever, I volunteered to stay with you guys, they just let me come in with all my stuff. There's something weird going
That's
on here.
what I'm saying. Like,
I'm
why are they
saying,
gunning
like,
for Ricard?
I'm saying
so
something
bad?
behind the curtains is happening
Yeah,
that I don't think any of us have the foresight to see. But I feel like our only choice is to go out there now and say something or do something that doesn't get us in any further trouble, doesn't make the Dawncasters look bad, but can save Ricard's life.
I don't know what that is because I'm
Can
pretty sure
I-
he confessed to.
I'm not saying to prove his innocence. I'm saying to absolve him without taking his life.
How do you plan on doing that?
Can I?
I'm saying-
Can I do
What
a
were you saying?
past
Go ahead.
insight?
Can you do a what?
Can I do like an insight that?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like
Absolutely.
to insight the High Lady. What the last thing she said to us was that she tried everything.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Go for it. As you guys are, standing here still discussing, so you do feel like she had a pretty big air of sincerity. That the things that are taking place are just they're taking place. That you feel like she is definitely saddened by the punishment that's going on or whatever. So the guard standing there with you guys says, I believe you may be out of time. And he turns and he says, just step through this door and you can see, perhaps. And he points to another door that's at this landing at the stairs that you guys have come up to. So you've gone up like one level, but there are stairs going up, 2 more, 3 more levels, whatever. And he points to this doorway or whatever. So now the door that you guys are looking at or whatever, it's on hinges, but it doesn't appear to be locked or anything. It doesn't have any kind of locking mechanism on it. It's just like a swinging door, essentially. And he says, he just kind of motions for you guys to step out the door or whatever.
I'm gonna, I guess, go through the door, but I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, like, Skyder, you don't have any fucking spells. I'm pretty sure Keaton is tapped out, and Atlas, I'm not sure what you would be able to do in the next 5 seconds.
There's nothing that I can Well, no, there is
You just
definitely
speak up.
something I can do. What do we see going through that door?
Okay. So as you go through the door, you see on either side, there are these stands, and they're fairly empty. It's not like a packed event, right? But there are a certain number of people there, and you're kind of looking around. You look down into the stadium, and as you look down into the stadium, you see quite a number of guards kind of lining any of the entrances that might be to the stadium down at the base on the ground level or whatever. There in the center of the stadium, you guys see Ricard standing, still shackled. As he's standing there, in front of him, he is facing what appear to be like a court of wizards. It's just a large number of wizards and sorcerers, and they're all standing in a line facing him. And as he's standing out there, you guys hear a voice call out, and so the judgment has been passed.
I cast Thaumaturgy.
Okay.
This man has done the work of Bahamut. He has slain all the look, man, I'm trying.
I know.
DM,
Uh-huh.
can I roll a perception to see if I can tell where it's coming from?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Or could you roll a perception for me?
Yeah. For a second there, I was just like waiting for the roll to happen.
Look,
I'm like,
I got
wait a minute.
dice. I got dice in my bag right here. I'll do it. Hit me.
You rolled an 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's you definitely recognize Skodrick's voice booming through the thaumaturgy, though you can't tell specifically where it's coming from. It just kind of rings through the stadium.
Okay. If he makes any sort of long pause, I want to respond as loud as I can.
Okay.
So, anyways, so I guess continue until he pauses for any real length of time.
So yeah.
As he's saying that, I'm going to cast Heroism on myself, if that's okay.
Okay.
So pretty much I say, he has done work for Bahamut. He has slain those of the enemies of the people of the free world. He has destroyed eggs of Tiamat.
At that point, I'm going to yell as loud as I can.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I have done those things, but I have also done wrong. Wrong that my compatriots are not responsible for. And there's a debt there that must be paid.
But not with your head.
I'm gonna stealth and like
Okay.
motion, like while Skodrick's distracting people with
This
that.
is what Tiamat wants. This is what the cult of the Dragon Cult wants.
And you guys hear a booming voice come back, and it says, "And so the debt shall be paid." With that, an incredible flash of light, incredible flash of blinding light, fills the center of the stadium, blotting out any of the images of the various figures that are standing down there. It permeates for quite a few seconds.
I want to look for the voice.
Quite a long time. Go ahead.
I want to look for the voice. Sorry to cut you off. I want to look for the voice.
Okay. Okay, so as you look down or whatever, you noted that there were a few what appeared to be like council members or whatever standing behind this line of apparent wizards and sorcerers or whatever, and among those there was one who was kind of standing on this pedestal type deal. So he's kind of elevated above, and that's what you see just before this blinding flash of light. So this blinding flash of light fills the stadium, blotting out any silhouettes of figures that are standing there, anything like that. It permeates and pulsates for a few moments, and then dies down. As it begins to fade, you then see things start to come back into focus. As things come back into focus, they're standing still are the wizards in the center, lying on the ground. You guys see Ricard's body motionless. And that's where we will end our session.
I'm out.
Such a cliffhanger.
Uh-huh.
That's a pretty good cliffhanger.
Cool. Trial by combat. Mark says.
Game of Thrones season 1 level.
I like it. Cool. All right.
That was Game of Thrones season 1 for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for everybody that jumped in to watch us play tonight. Anybody who might have checked us out or whatever, we certainly appreciate it. This has been another session of the Horde of the Dragon Queen, a D&D 5e module brought to you by Battle Cry or Die. You can check us out on Facebook and Twitter. We have links to our YouTube channel all on our page here on Twitch that you guys can check out. So, thanks, guys. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
It's nice